In today's video, we are going to be looking at one of this year's biggest high school recruits, Jaden Hardy, his shooting form, and of course, how he shoots the basketball. Let's get down and let's check out how Jaden Hardy shoots. Okay, so in this first clip, he is running into his shot. He's catching it off the pass. Now, Jaden Hardy is actually a really good shooter. He's in that high 30% range from what I have seen online so far. So that's actually boding really well for when he gets into college and then later, hopefully, onto the professional level. From here, what we do see is he is looking at the rim as soon as he catches the ball. This is extremely important, especially if you want to know exactly where you want to shoot the ball. From there, he does plant down his left foot first, but we do want to see, is he on his toes when he does go up into his shot? And as we can see here on this right foot, as well as this left foot, he is up on his toes, which is good. That's going to give him initial power from his calves, which are fast twitch muscles. From there, we want to see what his actual form looks like. So his gather is, of course, where everyone else most players gather is, which is right in the middle of their hips. Some players do like, however, on the right side, but we do not see that with Jaden Hardy. From there, we do see that his shoulders are actually back over his butt, which are over his heels. Some players will find that they get more power when their shoulders are over their toes and over their knees. The only time we see that with Jaden Hardy is when he is doing a step back, when he does set shots. A lot of the times that his shoulders are over his heels, as well as when he steps into his shot. So that just tells us that he's getting a lot of power from his arms in most cases. But we would like to see a little bit more leg strength to be able to get more power on that shot. He may be able to step back from deeper than NBA 3 range as well, so look forward to possibly seeing a potential future Trae Young style player in the NBA. From there, when he does bring that ball up from his gather up to his set point, which seems to be right in front of his right eye, if not just slightly to the right, either way, it does seem to be blocking that right eye's vision. Some coaches may or may not like that. But from there, when he brings it up from his gather up to his set point, what I do notice is that his elbow does bend on the way up. Now, you may be wondering, why do I even pay attention to things like that? Well, anytime you want to add, or anytime you add extra movement to your shot, when you start getting into a cold streak, you start changing things in your shot. And the less things that you are able to change, the faster you're able to get out of that cold streak. And by having an elbow that bends on the way up can add extra days, if not weeks, to your cold streak. Now, hopefully that doesn't happen, but from there, that is just something that I do notice with a lot of players. Now, going back down to the base, we do notice that his right foot is pointing towards the basket. You really want that right side to be in line with the basket. From there, we do see that his left foot is slightly out, but his right foot is in front of his left, which is good. That's going to give him accuracy as well as power. From there, he does bend both of his knees forward, which is good, not much towards the middle, which is just showing to me that it's going to be a very consistent or straight shot. We do see that the hips, the left side is slightly back from the right side, which could make that shot twist towards the left, but if he does tend to in the future have that issue where he hits the left side of the rim more, maybe in a cold streak, that is just something that's small that could be not necessarily fixed but changed. From there, we do see when he brings up that ball into his set point that his arm is bent way farther than 45 degrees, and that would be 90, that would be 45. Now, what does this mean to us? What this means to Jaden Hardy, as well as for us, because we are breaking down his shooting form, is the fact that this is going to give him more power. This is going to give him more long distance power. So again, going back to my initial thought of him possibly being a future Trae Young style shooter, is really starting to show that he just may be that. From there, we see when he goes up into his shot that his elbow is underneath that ball. That is very important. If your elbow is too far in, that means that that ball is going to go out towards that direction. Meanwhile, if your elbow is too far out this way, generally speaking, the ball goes out that way. So that is just something for yourself. If you tend to see your shot miss left or right, it could be your elbow. But also, we want to see the elbow in line with the shoulder towards the net. This is all aim. This is the triangle of aim, I guess we could call it, where everything needs to be in line towards the basket in most cases, unless your name is LaMelo Ball. But anyways, we do see that his left hand is straight up. It's not back. It's also not forward. And we also, when we slow it down, notice that there is not much of a thumb flick on this clip, at least, which is good. And we do see that there is space because of a shadow between his palm and the ball. Now, you generally want to have space between the palm and the ball so that you can have control over the ball going left or right. However, there are some players who have success on wide open shots or free throw shots having no space between the palm, which apparently can give you more accuracy. However, I have tried this myself. I've tried it with 100 shots, and you're really only improving, at least in my case, 2 or 3%. So it's not a massive deal. But again, you want to have a space between the palm and the ball. The reason for that is because if you get knocked in the elbow or your body or whatever, what's going to happen is if you do not have a good grip on that ball, it's going to not be accurate. It's going to fall out of your hand, things like that. You want to have a space between the palm and the ball to have control of that ball. When he goes up into his shot, we do notice that his elbow is above his forehead, above his eyes. That's going to give him the arc on that ball. Basically, when you start looking at your shot, your legs is going to give you the power. Your elbow, in this case, is going to give you the power, but your arm release is going to give you the arc. This is basically how you shoot a basketball. I personally think that Jaden Hardy has a very good shooting form. Some players and some coaches may say that he brings that ball back just a bit too far, and I really personally don't think he needs to change that all that much as long as he stays consistent. Now, from this angle, what we do see is a little bit more clear, and from here we do see that there is no thumb flick like Steph Curry. Sometimes with a thumb flick, if you find that your ball does not have rotation, when no backwards spin when you're shooting the ball, sometimes it's because of a thumb flick. Sometimes it's to get that ball up into its shooting release so that you have the elbow underneath the ball. In, for example, Steph Curry, Seth Curry, Del Curry's shooting form, Kyrie Irving, those type of players have the elbow flared just a bit, so the thumb flick pushes that ball up. But we do not see this here. I personally really like Jaden Hardy's shooting form. And we do see again that he does have that nice high release. And we could actually see from this video how many rotations that it actually has roughly. So what we're going to be looking at is that shiny part of that ball. And that's going to be one full rotation there. Remember, both sides of the ball has a shiny mark. So that would be now 2 rotations on the ball there. And that would be... there we go, that's 2. That's that Nike mark, and that's roughly 2.5 to 2 3/4. Basically, you want to have more than 2.5 rotations on that ball or more. Basically, what it does is it allows you to hit that rim slightly softer so that it does have the ability to bounce in. We also do notice that he does have right there a middle finger release. I hope Jaden Hardy all the best of making the NBA. I really do think that he could be a very deep range 3-point shooter in the future. And of course, hit that like button and subscribe, and I will see you guys again later.